Everyone has a morning routine. The question is your morning routine moving you toward your goals or pulling you away from your goals? Is it flip on the TV and start the coffee and then go to the bathroom and jump in the shower? Are you getting up and checking Facebook first thing in the morning? So think about your morning routine for a second. If you're not carefully curating your routine to map to your goals, then you're not going to reach your full potential. I can guarantee you, if you take the steps in this video, you'll immediately start gaining momentum toward your goals. Because what we're doing is we're going to utilize the most powerful hour in the day, which is the first hour. That first hour sets the pace for your entire day, and it sets the tone for how you will tackle challenges. By setting up an effective morning routine, you're setting yourself up to take small steps toward your goal every single day. And over time, you're going to see incredible momentum build toward your goals. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the first hour of the day and how to optimize that to maximize your effectiveness. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the last hour of the day and what you should be doing there to set yourself up for success the next day. Andy Dillard says, "How we spend our days is of course how we spend our life." This is a powerful concept because it allows us to imagine that our life is just a culmination of thousands of days. So if you think today is not important, then you're missing the point. Today is supremely important because it's one of the finite number of days that you have on Earth to make an impact. So think back to a day where you started the day with a list of action items, things that you needed to take care of that day. You went through the day, you got sidetracked, something happened, whatever the case may be. You get to the end of the day and nothing on your list is done. Probably made you feel just annoyed, irritated, frustrated, demotivated. Let's translate that to you're 80 or 90 years old, you're coming to the end of your life, and you look back on your life and you have that same feeling. You think about the goals that you had and your ambitions, and you just never got anywhere with them. You never got traction. Nothing got checked off of your life list. Imagine how that would make you feel. What I hope to do in this video is show you how you can avoid that. How you can make small steps toward your goals every single day. By the time you get to the end of your life, you can look back and see a successful, fulfilling life. This brings me to another point. I feel like you can make huge strides of improving your decision making simply by reframing your questions and saying, which choice will I regret less when I'm 80 or 90 years old? And when you ask yourself that, the right choice is always immediately apparent. So let's talk a little bit about what a routine does for you. The first thing that it does, and the thing I like the most probably, is that it sets the pace for the day. So my morning routine is time-based, and I feel like it should be for everyone, but it keeps me rolling through tasks. And what that does is it kind of gets this momentum building for the day, and even after I exit my routine, I'm churning through things. I'm just getting things done more quickly because I've set up that pace that I expect to be at. It also minimizes decision fatigue. So decision fatigue is a theory that you have a certain number of decisions you can make throughout the day, and after you've done that, you lose the ability to effectively make decisions. So you'll see top CEOs and entrepreneurs minimizing their decisions. So Mark Zuckerberg wears like the same shirt every single day. Well, that's one less decision he has to make that doesn't map to his goals. So this is a universal theme in success, which is that everything should map to a goal. And what routine does is it removes all of the decisions from the first hour of your day. So it's not, well, should I start the coffee or get in the shower first? Well, should I read a little bit of this book or should I turn the TV on and watch Good Morning America? All of those decisions are already made for you previously. If you've watched my channel for very long, you've probably heard me talk about automating choices that you struggle with. What I mean by that is if you have a choice that you have trouble making correctly because you're in a state of vulnerability or whatever, you automate that choice. You make it to where there is no choice because that's the only option. And the routine does that. If you enforce the rigidity of the routine in your mind, then you don't have to make the choice every single day because the routine is the routine and you just do it. There's this concept in chemistry called activation energy, which is the amount of energy it takes to start a reaction. For instance, gasoline requires some spark or a flame before it can burn. Without that, it's just an inert liquid. So I tell you that to draw an analogy of activation energy for tasks that you don't want to do. So when I was in college, I was in charge of mowing the yard at my house, and I hated mowing the yard. It was a waste of time. I'd rather play video games. I'd rather watch TV. I didn't want to go out and spend 2 hours sweating in the heat mowing the yard. I put it off, and eventually I get a notice from the city that says, you need to mow your yard or you're going to get a ticket. That day, I went out and I mowed the yard. In this example, the activation energy for me to mow the yard was get a notice from the city. For some people, it's get a ticket from the city before they mow the yard. And for some people, it's just the grass has grown an inch or it's starting to look scraggly and they care a lot about their yard. So that activation energy depends on the task and it depends on the person. But you can lower that activation energy. And the way you do that is by repeating that task over and over again and building a programmed response for a stimulus. And that's something that routine does for you. Now, initially, when you first set up a routine, the activation energy is going to be pretty high. It's going to take some motivation and some drive to say, I really want to do this, I want to make this happen, I'm going to jump in and do this routine every day. But after about a week or two, that activation energy gets lower and lower, and it gets easier and easier to do that. You don't require that self-pep talk, and you'll just jump into your routine. And after a month or two, you'll just fall into it, and you could do it without even thinking about it. So at that point, you'll have this incredibly powerful routine that you've built that sets your entire day up for success and moves you toward your goals. And another thing your routine does for you is it starts your day with a win. So you're gonna go through this routine and you're gonna get things done that maybe you're not getting done now, and it's gonna set you up with several wins before the meat of your day really starts. So you've built up that confidence, you've built that momentum, and you're ready to attack the day. So let's talk about how to set up a morning routine. The first thing you want to do is lay a foundation. Very basic things that you have to do to get ready for work or get ready for church, whatever you have to do every day. So that's going to be getting dressed, maybe taking a shower, shaving, eating breakfast. So that may make it sound like you're just going to make a list of the things you're already doing. But the important thing to remember is that for an effective routine, you need to list the tasks, you need to list the order of the tasks, and you need to put down the amount of time you're allocating for the task. So this will create more rigidity than you're used to, and it'll set up a foundation for a more effective routine going forward. But starting out, you don't want to just throw a bunch of activities in that you weren't doing before. You don't want to go from having no morning routine to having a 3-hour morning routine, because you're just not going to be successful. So what you want to do is lower that activation energy of your morning routine. You want to minimize it starting out. So maybe choose one of your goals and find an activity that helps move you toward that goal, and just add that one activity initially on top of the other things that you already do throughout the day and the scheduling and so on. And then over time, you'll add more and more modules that map to goals. So everything you do in your morning routine should map to a goal. Now, granted, showering and things like that, they'll be part of your morning routine. Obviously, showering doesn't really map to a specific goal, but there are these menial tasks you have to do in the morning just to get yourself ready for the day, and those need a place in your routine. But it's important to note that every activity that you add in needs to be mapped to a goal. So here's a good example. When I talk to someone who's having trouble being motivated or having trouble making progress on some life goal, the first thing I ask them is, well, what are your goals specifically? And they'll list them out. Some people don't even know what their goals are. There's a whole separate video that I need to make on that. But then I ask them, okay, what do you do when you wake up in the morning? What's the first 5 things you do? And they'll tell me, and sometimes it'll be, flip on the TV to the news. And I'll say, okay, so how does that map to a goal? Unless you're a news anchor or you work in the news industry in some way, how does watching the news progress you toward your goals? People don't think in terms of their goals and that their activities should map to their goals. So cut out those things that don't map to goals. On that same note, you should never let other activities seep into your morning routine. So it's easy for a routine to get derailed by letting other things seep into the routine. So you're in the middle of your routine, you're doing great, you've been doing it for 2 weeks, and your phone buzzes and you think, well, just this once, I'll go check it. Well, it's a Facebook notification, so you get in there and 15 minutes later you're still on Facebook you've burned through the rest of your routine time. Now you've got to get ready for work and you missed a bunch of things that you wanted to do. You have to be intentional about avoiding letting these distractions seep into your routine. Your routine should be sacred. You should protect it from outside forces to make sure that every day you're making that progress that you want to make toward your life goals. So let's go over a few examples of things that might be part of your morning routine. A really big one is wake up on time, don't hit the snooze button. That can be part of your morning routine, and it should be. Studies have shown that the sleep that you get after snooze is not effective for making you feel rested, and sometimes it causes the opposite effect. I used to hit the snooze button 4 or 5 times before I'd get up. And finally, I was just fed up with it because I was burning 30 or 45 minutes a day just hitting the snooze button and laying around in bed. Some other ones would be meditation. You can do a certain number of minutes of meditation. You can read books that map to your goals. You can write in your journal, which is very effective at helping you understand yourself and how you react to situations. You could study Spanish, practice visualizations or affirmations. You could put in there to eat a healthy breakfast, go to the gym for a certain amount of time. You could have in there to go for a walk, take a cold shower if that's something you've been wanting to try out. If getting to work on time is a struggle for you, you could add get to work 15 minutes early to your morning routine, or even just add going for a walk to clear your mind. So I'll tell you a couple things that I've added to my morning routine lately that have helped me. So I'm very competitive. I like to build my routine around my own personal tendencies because it helps to reinforce that momentum. So because I'm competitive, I'll time myself and I'll say, well, I want to get done with this within this amount of time. So an example of that is I've found that I'm much more effective when I'm fully dressed and ready for the day. So instead of moseying around in my robe for 3 hours, I get dressed for the day. In that same vein, and with my competitive nature, I've set up something in my routine that's basically I wake up in the morning, turn off my alarm, and then I get a shower, shaved, and dressed as quickly as possible. And every day I write down in my journal how long it took me to do that so that I can compare and compete against myself, so to speak. And that has really helped me to kill that lag time in my morning. A lot of mornings I would look up and it's been an hour and I've been messing around on the computer or on my phone and I just haven't got anything done. So what I've done is I've set up a step in my routine that immediately gets the momentum started. And the other thing I do that's really helped me is I've made a rule that I am not allowed to use my phone for anything in the first hour that I'm awake. So that protects my routine hour from any distraction from my phone. So that's where I'm gonna kind of wrap it up for the day. I hope I've convinced you that morning routine is important and that you're gonna get started. If you like this video, hit that like button. And if you have any questions or you just want to talk about what your morning routine is, put them in the comments down below and we'll start a conversation. If you like what I'm doing here and you want to see more videos like this, specifically the one that's coming out about the last hour of the day, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.